The undead battle over and the blasted main gate lying in ruins, the obvious next step was to proceed northeast and learn more about Kathleen and its current ills. The main road quickly took us to a pleasant park, its flowers and bushes well maintained and its air sweet with vegetative fragrance. Dominating the center of the park was a large wooden billboard with writings on one side and dozens of small letters and other scraps of paper gently flapping in the wind on the other. Searching the billboard, we discovered that the vast majority of messages affixed to it seemed to be written prayers asking the great goddess Sisla to watch over and protect the city of Kathleen. This wasn't surprising, as the city had seen more than its share of trouble recently. Perhaps the Sislan way deeper within the Kathleen Power District would have more answers. Standing there alongside the large billboard, I then noticed that Redfern seemed quite interested in the various slips of paper attached to the object as well and inquired. Many of these are written prayers of protection against the undead, the truistic observed, reviewing perhaps a dozen of them. Lord Robert said that the undead attacks had started only a few weeks ago, but most of these prayer slips look quite weathered, likely a year old now. Clearly, the undead attacks had been going on for some time. After a quick stop at the jeweler to sell the ruined Jacocard representative Margaret had given me back in Tobin, we found one of the local city merchants, intent on resupplying ourselves and learning more about the capital city. Stepping into the establishment, we saw all manner of chests, trunks, cabinets, shelves, and so forth containing just about anything mundane that we could want. Moments later, a tall, older woman appeared from behind a counter, intent on buying and selling just about anything up to 100 gold pieces in value. Several transactions quickly commenced, the woman thanking us for our business. "You must be those heroes who helped defend the main gate," the shop owner then announced, looking us over carefully. "It's refreshing to meet folks more interested in protecting this city than promoting their own political agenda." Nodding in agreement, the merchant considered for a moment, then laid a shiny blue ring on the counter, its magical origin obvious. "I've been saving this trinket for some time, I reckon you can use it more than me." "A magical ring of protection?" Redfern gasped, quite surprised. "Thank you, good woman." I agreed, thanked the merchant myself for the unexpected gift and handed the ring to Ariana, the elf equally surprised by the shop owner's generosity. Needing to sell some of the short swords and shields we had recovered from the skeletons back in the marsh, as well as repair and improve our own weapons, armor, and shields, we next made our way to the local smithy. Stepping into the large and busy establishment, we immediately encountered all sorts of weapons, suits of armor, shields and other objects related to combat and the general defense of an adventurer. A moment later, an incredibly muscular fellow appeared from beyond a stone counter and hailed us, inquiring about our business here. Several various transactions were soon completed and the smithy thanked us for the business. A moment of silence passed as the smithy looked us over, as if measuring our worth. "Kathleen has its problems, but you look able enough to help. If you want to get involved, I would recommend visiting the town hall, which may get you an audience with Lord Robert within the Power Tower." "We've already met him," Redfern responded with a grin. "Fought by his side, actually." "Impressive," the smithy replied, a bit surprised by our heroism. "You'll also need to visit the Sislan temple, even if you don't need any healing. The Sislans know more than most about what's going on and perhaps will share their secrets with you in return for helping to save Kathleen." I nodded affirmatively, thanked the smithy for his time, then led the party back out into the streets of Kathleen. After a quick stop at the bank to open an account and make an initial deposit, we decided to call it a day and stop at a local tavern, its atmosphere dark and smoky but otherwise peaceful. For a single gold coin, we could enjoy a good meal here, and perhaps even hear a rumor or two if we were lucky. Our waitress collected my payment, showed us to a larger table within the tavern and soon brought plenty of food and drink for the three of us to enjoy, spending the next hour or so filling our bellies and relaxing. "So, wizard," Ariana began, surprising me as she spoke directly to Redfern. "You said you're originally from Kathleen and left about a year ago with your father. What made you leave?" Equally surprised by the question, Redfern looked at me first before responding. "It's a long story, elf. Our family once farmed the lands around the city until 2 years ago, when the plague killed most of us. Just my father and I survived. I had 3 brothers I was very close to." "I can relate to that," Ariana stated, remembering her own brother Benjamin who died at the hands of Darius and Rachel back in Tobin. Redfern slowly nodded, perhaps sensing Ariana's pain, then continued. Afterwards, father turned, mean, ugly, wrathful. He couldn't understand how everyone had let him down. He had been faithful, yet Sisla didn't save his wife and children. He had been lawful, yet the inner circle never even acknowledged the catastrophe, and the city of Kathleen didn't so much as even check in on us. It was just all too much for him to bear, I guess. So he turned evil? Ariana asked, trying to better understand. I suppose you could say that, Redfern responded, uncomfortable with the story. The experience broke him, sent him down a dark path. And then he learned about the ultimates in Chegaria, and how they could extend real power to anyone, no matter their background or ability to use magic. Your father got mixed up with the ultimates? Ariana lashed out, shocked by the revelation. What happened? He solicited their favor, ate from the Nemphrid plant and turned into one of them, the wizard responded, almost as angry as Ariana. We fought day and night, but Sisla's code teaches absolute obedience to one's elders. I had no choice but to obey. Yes, I was aware of the code of the land, handed down by Sisla herself to act as a set of rules for all honorable American humans to live by. For most of humanity, elders had to be obeyed and respected at all costs. He wanted me to become an ultimate as well, just like him, Redfern continued, his story painful to retell. I convinced him that if I were to become a wizard, it would be through the ritual of honorable rebirth atop Mount Rebirth, to the north. That was a season ago. And where is your father now? Ariana asked, noticing someone approaching Redfern from behind. Yes. Where is that demon of a father now? Standing behind Redfern was a small group of older men, local farmers perhaps. All of them armed and ready for combat. Their presumed leader was now holding a large knife to Redfern's throat. Clearly angry, perhaps even deranged, the bearded man kept his attention solely on Redfern. I just lost everything to those undead monsters, and we know it was you and your wretched father who unleashed them again, just like you did a year ago. Throm? Redfern asked with a whisper, apparently identifying the man. So, you still remember me? Throm returned, a crazy look etched in his eyes. We remember too, how you and Rex became ultimates, raised the dead a year ago to attack Kathleen and then left for Chegaria. Now you've returned to spread more death and destruction, and I will have my revenge. These farmers definitely meant to attack Redfern at any moment, so I had to act quickly. Sir, this must all be a big misunderstanding, I kindly proposed, trying my best to defuse the situation. I hardly think Redfern is some sort of killer. What do you know, elf? Throm cried out, disgusted with all of us and preparing to actually murder Redfern in cold blood. Rex swore revenge when the two of them left, just when the monsters started to attack. Make no mistake, Redfern is the true angel of death, and now he must die. The crazy old farmer then lunged for Redfern. Acting quickly, Ariana parried the initial thrust, saving the wizard's life. Then, all hell broke loose. Fortunately, the fight didn't last long, our party promptly defeating the middle-aged farmers, their lack of combat training as apparent as their misplaced anger. Bloodied and nearly unconscious, the bearded leader was then pulled away, uttering yet another firm warning. Mark my words, Redfern. You will pay for what you did. You and your father will die. And with that, the farmers were gone. Redfern appeared quite shocked by the attack, and in the chaos, I thought I saw him mumble something under his breath. My father is already dead. Clearly, the wizard was keeping some sort of secret from me. I need some air. Redfern finally stated, not interested in explaining himself. Finish your meal, I will be right outside. And with that, Redfern turned and stepped away. He was still a member of my party of course, but for the moment he didn't want to talk. I accepted his wishes and returned to the table along with Ariana. He's keeping something from us, Ariana said as I sat back down. I don't think he had anything to do with the monsters attacking Kathleen, but he's lying about something. Agreed, I said, nodding my head. I suppose he will tell us when he's ready. The strange encounter over, Ariana and I then dined for the next hour in silence, keeping an ear out for whispered rumors. Over the next few hours, Ariana and I overheard several topics of conversation, local rumors that seemed important to the various townspeople dining near us. The first involved the apparent loss of the Lyfeshard, a fragment of the all-powerful life star that Sisla the Deliverer used to defeat the Hellions and end the Age of Damnation about 1,000 years ago. The Lyfeshard here in Pirapa had remained in the capital city of Kathleen for the past 5 centuries, supposedly protecting the city with its nearly limitless power. Like Sisla herself, only the most pious and pure of heart could tap the energies of the Lyfeshard. Hence, the word was that the Angel of Death didn't just simply take the Lyfeshard. The supreme healer priest Jepin Nor apparently failed to invoke its awesome power, supposedly too weak and morally corrupt to draw the living energy from the relic. Hence, the people here were blaming the loss of the Lyfeshard on Jepin Nor, something we'd definitely want to investigate. A second rumor focused on the recently reported sighting of a mutant priestess within Kathleen, apparently asking questions about something. A bitter enemy of the Sislan way, she stayed clear of the clergy and instead seemed only interested in visitors and adventurers. I had never actually met a mutant before, but my understanding was that they were essentially druids who didn't believe in the divinity of Sisla whatsoever. After spending the night at the city hostel, we continued northeast the next morning, following the main road over the bridge separating the Kathleen Business District from the Power District, soon arriving at the town hall and having a look inside. The hall was large and open, well lit, clean and organized. A variety of tables and chairs rested near the center of the chamber. Several officials and townspeople congregated there, and I suspected there was valuable information to be heard if I simply initiated a conversation. "Yes, you helped defend the main gate during the last undead attack," one of the officials responded to my request to talk. "Your deed is already well known throughout Kathleen. In fact, Lord Robert has requested your presence. You should go to the Power Tower at once." However, the official sighed before continuing the conversation, hurt by the imminent news. "However, know that the Angel of Death and her monsters have taken our beloved Lyfeshard. It is lost. Without the shard, our city is all but defenseless and it's only a matter of time before we're destroyed. Lord Robert can tell you more. Go see him at once at the Power Tower." Our supreme healer priest Jepin Nor bravely defended the Sislan temple, but the undead were too overwhelming and the Lyfeshard was taken, another official added, almost about to cry. "We must get our relic back, and we think Lord Robert wants you to go and do it." I could feel the pain of these city officials in their time of need and I further strengthened my resolve to help. Departing the town hall, Redfern suggested that we pay a visit to the Sislan temple first and find Jepin Nor, the supreme healer priest here in Kathleen. In agreement, we soon found the magnificent temple near the northeast corner of the Power District, Lord Robert's Power Tower nearby to the west. Stepping inside, the vast and magnificent construction before us was quiet, serene, and enchantingly beautiful, and I definitely felt a strong sense of acceptance and security within the place. Hundreds of candles burned all around within the spiritual sanctuary, providing a warm glow that covered and pervaded the area. A middle-aged Sislan priest stepped forward moments later, bid us welcome and asked for the customary monetary donation of 2 gold coins before performing any needed cleric services. Taking my donation, several Sislan priests then bowed to us in respect. In the center of the Grand Temple, I then noticed an obviously disturbed area, a location that once certainly held something of tremendous value. Alas, our sacred relic the Lyfeshard has been taken by the Angel of Death and her undead army, a nearby cleric confessed, his heart clearly scarred. "We did all we could to keep the monsters away, but the most powerful artifact in all Pirapa has been taken. I pray to Sisla that you are the ones destined to reclaim it. We know where the Angel of Death has taken our most prized artifact." Standing there was Jepin Nor, the supreme healer priest of the Sislan Way and the most powerful cleric within all Pirapa. Large, burly, and crass, Jepin Nor recognized our adventurer status and had come to initiate his own conversation. "The Angel of Death abides deep within the Evil Root Forest to the southeast," continued Jepin Nor, his hatred for her quite obvious. "Why she stole the artifact is anyone's guess, but we must regain the Lyfeshard immediately, or else. I thought the Lyfeshard was all-powerful, why didn't you use it to defend yourselves?" Redfern queried, catching Jepin Nor by surprise. The cleric sneered, taking the comment personally. "There wasn't enough time to invoke its supreme power," Nor replied in a low voice. "But you seem worthy of the quest. Speak to Lord Robert and accept the challenge to reclaim our glorious shard." The conversation then abruptly ended, Jepin Nor returning to his many other responsibilities. It seemed we would need to talk to Lord Robert first, then perhaps return to the Sislan temple to continue our conversation with Jepin Nor. Quickly reaching the Power Tower and led through several regal halls, and observed by countless guards of this governmental tower, we now stood within the ornate and stately palace chamber directly across from Lord Robert. the heroic fighter we met during the battle with the undead at the main gate, and who seemed very interested in speaking with us. You've come, Lord Robert began, expecting us but relieved we had actually arrived. First, you must have questions. What can I answer for you? What can you tell us about this angel of death? I asked, wanting to know more about the villain who apparently had taken the Lyfeshard. No one knows who this angel of death truly is, Robert admitted, quite frustrated. Over the past few weeks, hordes of undead began attacking our great city, and each time, this white apparition would appear on the horizon to control them. We had no idea what she wanted, until the Lyfeshard was stolen from us. Robert contemplated for a moment, then turned back to me with a hint of a smile. Anyway, I want to first congratulate you for your bold stand at the gate. I am not sure we could have repelled the monsters there without you. All of you have my thanks. Robert then nodded to one of his trusted guards, who, in turn, handed me a modest sack, a total of 300 gold pieces to share with Ariana and Redfern. There is more where that came from, the Kathleen Lord continued. Without the Lyfeshard to protect us, the Angel of Death and her undead army will quickly kill us all. You've already proven yourselves. Will you quest for the Lyfeshard and return it safely back to us? In return, we will reward you tenfold, and throw in a powerful magical item as well. What say you? But we have no chance in this. Redfern wisely concluded, speaking on my behalf. How can we possibly defeat this Angel of Death, just the three of us? You are our only chance. Robert barked, unwilling to let you back down. I must stay to help defend the city from the undead, but our ranks are thin and it's only a matter of time before we're wiped out. You must find the heart to locate our Lyfeshard and return it. The stately lord then approached me, handing me a small yet ornate scroll tube. Defeat the Angel of Death and return our Lyfeshard and we will reward you with 1,000 gold pieces each, along with a powerful magical item. Of course, you can keep anything you find along the way. Take this seal to Jepinor at the Sislan temple to prove that you have spoken to me and have officially accepted our quest. Unsure of what to do, I slowly accepted the seal from Lord Robert. Redfern just shook his head, while Ariana looked on in near hopelessness. Robert then offered some final advice. All of you saw the fireballs launched at us by the Angel of Death. Fireball is a 3rd level magic user spell, so you will be dealing with a sorceress of at least 5th level, likely higher. Your only chance to defeat her is with stealth and surprise. If she knows you're coming, she will destroy you. Lord Robert let his advice sink in for a moment, then patted me on the shoulder before turning back toward his throne. As he stepped away, both Ariana and Redfern looked at me with tremendous concern. Robert's advice was intimidating and they needed some encouragement. Hence, I tried giving them a little pep talk, but unfortunately it didn't go well and they further wondered whether we had any real chance against this Angel of Death. Lord Robert sat back upon his throne and was immediately mobbed by several officials needing his time, signaling to us that it was time to go. Robert's seal in hand, I then led Ariana and Redfern out of the power tower and back to the Sislan temple. Returning to the Sislan temple, I showed the seal of Lord Robert to Jepinor and he nodded affirmatively, hailing for a specific cleric from the group of priests standing near the altar 50 feet away. A tall, handsome, and quite devout cleric stepped to us, introducing himself as Saint Airs. Jepinor softly tapped his chest twice in respect and then turned back to me alongside Saint Airs. This is Saint Airs, my best cleric and staunch defender of the Lyfeshard. He knows how to find the relic, so welcome him into your adventuring party. For a moment, Saint Airs looked utterly shocked. He clearly was not expecting to be asked to quest for the Lyfeshard with us. The brave cleric quickly regained his composure, however, and stepped behind me, accepting the challenge, and his fate with surprising dignity and grace. A collection of clerics then assembled around all of us, mumbling something about embracing the healing spirit of Sisla. While we'd be able to return to the temple in the future to purchase healing and recovery services, apparently an initial healing was on the house, that is, for free. I felt the healing energies of the clerics penetrate and soothe away my wounds, and moments later we found ourselves completely healed. Feeling better, I nodded to Jepinor, grateful for the kind gesture. Jepinor nodded in return before sending us on our way. Then go and quest for the Lyfeshard, and do not return until you have recovered the artifact from the Angel of Death and destroyed her as well. I expect to see all of you safe and sound within a few days. We will not fail, Saint Airs stated, his tone a mix of heroism, shock, and cynicism. We then turned and departed the temple, the quest to defeat the Angel of Death and recover the Lyfeshard now officially begun. Situated just east of the Kathleen Power Tower and the Grand Sislan Temple to the south was a large, open area perhaps 50 feet wide atop a modest hill. Dominating the hill was a tall wooden pole, heavy chains hanging from its very top and moving slightly in the breeze. Clearly the area was used for burning something, Redfern quickly confirming its macabre use. They do executions here, Lamtora, the wizard began, appalled and embarrassed. If you do something really terrible here in Kathleen, this is where they burn you alive. That's truly horrific. Ariana cried, shocked and disgusted. Redfern and I agreed, and I wondered what sort of crime could possibly warrant such a terrible death. The last execution here was that of Sandaria, the former Inner Circle representative who briefly ruled Kathleen a few years ago, Redfern continued, staring ahead as if he were still watching the spectacle. From what I remember, she was the one behind the original undead attacks a year ago, unleashing them upon the very city she was sworn to protect. The Sislanway uncovered her treachery and had her burned at the stake for her crimes, Sainairs added, apparently aware of what had happened as well. The Sislanway did that? I asked, quite surprised that they would dare execute a sitting member of the Inner Circle. While there has been bad blood between the Circle and the Sislanway for centuries, executing Sandaria did seem to cross the line, Redfern commented. In retaliation, the Circle withdrew its protection of Pyrepa, which is why the Angel of Death was so successful. But what would motivate a Circle wizard to attack her own people like that? Ariana asked. I thought Circle members are truistics like you, sworn to protect all. They are, Redfern returned with a nod. And that's the mystery. Sandaria was known for being quite liberal and she seemed to have the best interests of the people at heart. But something broke her, drove her over the edge, and she turned evil, unleashing all the undead. The Circle wizard should have just left well enough alone, Sainairs responded, taking a conservative approach to the conversation. Things are a certain way for a reason, it's best to leave them as they are. Well, regardless, the Sislans stepped in after the execution and made Lord Robert a sort of king here in Kathleen, Redfern continued. That's when Father got involved with the Ultimates and we left for Chagaria, he no longer wanted anything to do with Pyrepa. Redfern then angrily looked away. Studying his reaction, I again sensed that he was holding something back, lying to us about something. While he had yet to open up and explain what happened to his father, I suspected it wasn't good and I continued to wonder what he was hiding. Ready to depart Kathleen for the Evil Root Forest, we headed southwest and eventually reached the ruins of the main gate into the city, about a dozen men beginning to repair the entrance again. There, we found a smaller path leading southeast, hundreds of obvious tracks lying in the surrounding mud. A small army of creatures had passed through recently, likely all the undead under the command of the Angel of Death. Hence, this was surely the path to the Evil Root. What seized our immediate attention, however, was the dark-skinned warrior standing 20 feet away, the fighter's blade secured within its scabbard and his arms folded against his chest. He was clearly waiting for us. As we approached, I then recognized the hero. He was the fighter named Eswin who we met briefly in the marshland southwest of Kathleen earlier, and he was quick to converse with us. I want to join your party. Not ready for such a request, I was dumbfounded at first, as were the rest of my party heroes. Before I could react, however, Eswin continued, his voice strong and fearless. First, let's get something straight, the fighter warned, talking to me but glancing at Redfern. I am Eswin, Sorcerer Slayer, and I will cut all of you to pieces if this wizard shows the slightest hint of evil or corruption. What say you? Why would you want to join us? I asked, the obvious question. Because of this. Eswin raised his right arm and showed us his inner palm. There, burned into Eswin's flesh was a blackened image of a skull casting out lightning bolts, an apparent tattoo that was quite disturbing. That's the curse of the Denwirs, Redfern whispered, appalled by the sight. You've been permanently cursed to endure more and more pain with each passing day. Who did this to you? That's none of your business. Eswin snapped, not about to tell his story to a group of strangers. But I see us fighting for the same goal, so let's do so together. Fair enough, Redfern responded, his paranoia growing. But if you are a slayer of sorcerers, then am I destined to die at your hand, too? Eswin drew silent, gazing into Redfern's eyes as if to perhaps punish the wizard right here on the spot. The magic user swallowed and looked away, certainly intimidated by the stoic fighter. All of us a little untrusting of Eswin, he nonetheless turned to lead our party forward, his strength and protection most welcome but his dark secrets his own. And with that, our hodgepodge adventuring party continued along the small trail to the southeast, none of us prepared for all the horror we would soon face within the evil root forest about 3 days' march ahead. And that's a wrap of episode number 7, Quest for the Lyfeshard. Expect additional episodes every few weeks as the story continues.